Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Phases of Growth podcast. I'm your host, Brittany Rose, and today we're going to be talking about angels. So, I am a channel, and one of the spiritual entities that I channel are archangels. And I know that when people hear about angels, a lot of times you kind of get this picture of these majestic beings with halos, and they're very closely tied to Christianity and Judaism. And although their origin and how we kind of conceptualize them may come from those spiritual backgrounds, my relationship with angels is very different. And I see them as beings of divine love and light. So, my belief system, we all come from the same source, and we just incarnate in, into, this realm with different frequencies. So, we are all one, but in this experience that we're having our own unique life. Okay, so angels to me are from divine source. They are just vibrating and existing at a higher frequency than we are in the physical realm. And like I said, they are energy. They are part of source. And so anybody is allowed to connect with angels. In fact, they very much want people to be open to their presence, but you have to allow it. You have to want to raise your own vibration to their frequency so that you can receive their love and their energy and their messages. So, as I was preparing for this podcast today, Archangel Metatron came through for me. And this is the message he wanted me to deliver today. We are beings of divine love and light. We want you all to reach your highest timeline and live out your most beautiful potentials. So that has been my experience working with angels, is that they are here to guide, to heal, to help realign us with our highest and most authentic path and truth. And they are just beings of love. They don't have any other agenda other than to support, to nurture, and to guide humanity to a higher vibration and a higher timeline. So the reason that I'm talking about them today is I have just produced a book, and I don't feel comfortable almost saying that I wrote a book because it was not really my words. I channeled a book from the angels. And so I started this, I believe, in April of 2024. And every couple of days or so, I would sit down and I would just get myself into a meditative state. I would open myself up to the angelic realm and just offer myself to be a channel for whatever collective message wanted to come through that day. And so I did this pretty consistently from April until, well, I would say I probably finished channeling the messages in October, and then kind of compiled them, put them together, edited, and I really did not edit much because these words again were not my own, and they were channeled in a way that is very specific for the intended energy and frequencies that the angels wanted to share with us. So, this book was an invitation from the angels to me as a way to kind of help me open up that channel even more clearly, and also for them to be able to share some of their messages with other people who may benefit from hearing it. So the book itself has, I believe, 111 messages. And how it's intended to be used is a couple of ways. First, you could just read it front to back like you would a normal book, and that would be a beautiful way to receive the messages and the energy. The other way that they intended for people to use it was to use it as you would maybe an oracle deck or a tarot deck, where you are kind of just like randomly opening to a specific page to get the message that is most highly aligned for you that day. And each message comes with a affirmation, and encoded in those affirmations and the messages is an energy activation. So the angels program this book for you to receive the frequencies and of their messages, not just in your mind, but in your body and soul as well. So really just like I feel very honored that I was offered the ability to channel this book. And the messages, when I go back through and I read the messages, they always hit me exactly the way that they are meant to. And I can feel the energy coming from the angels every single time I read them. And as I read them, it's like I don't necessarily recognize the messages because, again, it was not me writing them, it was me channeling them and just being the vessel that wrote them down and then translated them into this book. Their names that we associate with the different angels are very much a human construct. I think that if they did have other names, which they probably do, it's not something that we would necessarily recognize. So in the, Christian and Judaic religions, they have named these different archangels. Archangel Michael, right, is talked about in Christianity. Archangel Raphael, Archangel Uriel, Archangel Gabriel, those are ones that we are very much familiar with. And so, although they may have been at one time associated with those religions, I do not um, identify as a Christian, right? Because I channel um, these angelic beings, but I can also channel Kuan Yin, which is from a very different culture and spiritual background. I also channel my authentic self. I have channeled divine source energy. So I am just very much an eclectic person, and whatever is aligned with divine love and light and whatever energetic vibration wants to come through, I allow myself to be a channel for that. In my experience, though, angels are the ones that I feel the most closely connected to and that come through the most often for me. And I don't know exactly why that is because I know there's other people who may channel different, you know, races of aliens, for example, like the Arcturians, for example. Arcturians have not come through to me as far as I know. But some of those people who could channel Arcturians may say they've never channeled an angel. So it just all depends. And apparently my energy and my frequency is more aligned with angels than it would be with a different spiritual energetic being. So I can tell you all about the different archangels, but I do feel like that if this is something that you are feeling called towards, it's really good for you to kind of do your own exploration. Certainly, the book Opening to Love would help you kind of get to know their energy a little bit. Um, but my relationship with their energy may look different than somebody else's relationship with their energy. And that does not make one of us right or wrong. It just means that we have different frequencies and vibrations and different needs. And so Archangel Michael shows up for me in one way where he may show up for somebody else in a completely different way. And to be able to get yourself to a place where you are open to working with them, really it is setting an intention and opening yourself to invoke them. So setting the intention of like, I'm open to the angelic realm aligned with divine love and light. I am open to receiving messages from any angelic helpers that are out there that have a message for me today. Whenever I go on a trip, I ask for protection from Archangel Michael. Whenever I don't feel well, I'm asking for healing energy from Archangel Raphael. Whenever I need help forgiving someone or myself, I call on Archangel Zadkiel because that Zadkiel's energy is associated with forgiveness and being able to see things from a higher perspective. So, some of that I have learned through my own exploration of other people's work, but a lot of that I've learned just from being open and these energies coming through. And the way that I started channeling was through a process called automatic writing. So, automatic writing is basically where you just kind of like get yourself into a centered place, you put your pen on the paper, and then you just write whatever is coming to you and you don't filter, right? And so a lot of times it's like your hand is moving, and just you are channeling information. When I do that, I close my eyes because I'm tuning out any distractions and I'm just solely focused inwards. And whatever is coming to me, I just write down. And doing this and this kind of practice of just being open and like tuning out the rest of the world is a way to try to help you bypass your thinking mind that's going to edit and filter what you're saying. So I've had experiences where I've received pretty profound guidance because I was automatic writing. And so if I had just been kind of in my normal, like cognitive state, I may have edited out of those messages because it like wouldn't be what my ego, my protective force wanted to hear. It would be taking a risk, right? And so the ego can often just kind of shut down intuitive guidance. But when you feel that intuitive guidance from whether it's your authentic self or from angels or some other spiritual guides, it just feels so right. But we have to be open to it and we have to ask for it and we have to allow it to come in. And that's how you're going to start developing a relationship with your authentic self or angels or any other kind of spiritual guides. And do I think that everybody can learn how to connect in? I do. I think there's some people who it is a little bit more easy for them. So when we talk about like the clairs, like clairvoyance, clairaudience, clairsentience, those types of things, I do have a pretty strongly developed clairaudience. So I receive messages like somebody is talking into my head. And it pretty much always sounds like my own voice, but I just can tell how it feels that it is not, or like the words that are being used, those are not my thoughts. They are coming from a higher vibration and frequency. So it's kind of like my brain is tuning in like one would to like a radio station. And so then I can kind of hear what it is. And I'll be honest, sometimes I haven't admitted this to a lot of people, but like sometimes I just start hearing songs in my head that is like I'm listening to it on the radio. Like, and I do think like my brain is like tuning into like a radio frequency or something like that. So some people are more like developed naturally, but I do think that channeling and then opening yourself to become a channel is something that you can learn how to do. And I would say the thing that helped me the most was actually Reiki. Once I became a Reiki channel, a Reiki practitioner, that just started opening me up to being able to channel all different sorts of energies. And actually at a Reiki retreat I was at a few years ago. It was like when I first started kind of becoming aware, like there was angels around me, they were trying to communicate with me. There was just like different signs that were happening. I had channeled a couple of times, but I was at a Reiki retreat and there was a woman, we were kind of doing like a group Reiki share, and there was a woman at my table who said, you have two angels just surrounding you and they very much want to talk to you. And I was like, okay. Like I kind of knew already. And I asked her, I'm like, do you know who they are? And she's like, that's for you to figure out. And I would say the first angel that really came through strongly and continues to come in strongly for me is Archangel Michael. And the first time like I heard him very clearly was my sister had given me like a selenite wand, And I had picked it up one day, and all of a sudden I heard in my mind, Archangel Michael wants to speak with you. And I was like, oh, okay. And like selenite for me, or different crystals, they're kind of like an amplifier. And so, like, or like a spiritual microphone, kind of. And so, whenever I'm channeling right now, even I'm holding on to a Herkimer diamond and a Lemurian quartz. And so, I'm whenever I'm channeling, I am holding on to crystals to just kind of like boost my own vibration and just allow me to be at a frequency where I can receive the messages clearly. That's another thing that I do too, is that whenever I'm sitting down to channel, I am asking for the messages to come through clearly and directly, so that I just kind of will know. Sometimes we get these like cryptic messages or like breadcrumbs that you have to figure out. And that still happens to me a lot. But like when I'm sitting down directly to channel, I would say most of the time the information is coming through very clearly. So the book title, Opening to Love, I think is appropriate in a couple of different ways. First, it talks about my process. So sitting down each day and opening myself up to angelic energy, truthfully, what I was opening myself up to was divine love. And also, it's appropriate because of the theme of the book. I doubt there is a single message in that book that does not contain the word love. The themes, the messages, and I put it on the back for a reason. Like, I didn't want to do like this whole description and explanation on the back. The only words on the back are love is the answer to all questions. And that is a message that I channeled during my Reiki master training. And it has been a guiding force for me since then. Because if you think about it, it's like that is the greatest truth. Love is the answer to all questions, right? If I don't know where to go, I should tune in, get quiet, turn to love. If I need help healing something, I need to get quiet. I need to tune in, and I need to turn to love, open to love, right? If I need help forgiving somebody, I need to get quiet. I need to tune in, and I need to open to love. So it's like, if we are allowing ourselves to be led by this loving presence, we are automatically going to be on our highest path. So this is a process, this is a process to step away from our wounded parts, from the fears that we hold on to. This is something that I am working towards every single day. And each day it gets a little bit easier, but it's not easy, right? We have to kind of release some of our old programming, release the things that we've done that have protected us or felt like they were protecting us, and just really trust that love is the answer to all questions. So that is what I wanted to share with you today about my new book, Opening to Love, and about my experience channeling angels. And I would love for you to take a look at this book. It is available currently on Amazon, and it is also available on my website. On my website, you can purchase this book by going to, and I'll have this in the show notes, BrittanyRoseAuthor.com. And once you purchase the book, you will get a signed copy. You will get your own personal channeled angel message that is just, specific to you, and a couple of other goodies in the package. So I would love for you guys. I only have a couple available because I didn't want to order like a ton of books in case nobody was interested in this. But I am really excited to offer this as a way of kind of giving you a your own personalized experience with connecting with the angels. So I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Thank you so, so much for being here, and we will talk again soon. Bye.